And we are recording now.
All right, I'm going to admit folks in.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. We're just going to give it just a few moments here for everyone to log in and get settled, and then we'll get started. All righty, we're just going to get started and then let people file in if they're tuning in. So good morning, everyone. My name is Ben Kessler. Welcome to today's webinar. We're going to be talking about off-grid using residential solar and storage to charge your vehicle. I'm part of the Palmetto Clean Fuels Coalition, which is housed within the Energy Office. We work on a wide, diverse array of alternative fuels in the United States, but today we're going to be talking about electric. So just for a little bit of background, because it can sometimes be confusing where Palmetto Clean Fuels is located. We are housed within the Energy Office, and within that, the Energy Office is housed within the Office of Regulatory Staff. The regulatory staff goes in front of the Public Service Commission and kind of works on utility issues. We are not funded through the state. We are funded through the U.S. Department of Energy. So we get a state energy program grant for the Energy Office, and then through Clean Cities, we get programmatic grants to do our initiatives. So you may be asking, what does the Energy Office do? Well, in South Carolina, we promote energy efficiency, renewable energy, and clean transportation. These come out of some legislative requirements. We provide technical assistance to entities who are looking to increase their efficiency and deploy some of those alternative and renewable energies. We provide financial assistance in terms of loans, grants, and tax incentives. Like today, we're doing some education and outreach, so that's one of the things we do. And we're also known kind of as the primary planning and data entity for the state. So if you're looking for data on energy, you can find us on our website, energy.sc.gov, and kind of tear through that. Also, we implement the state energy plan, of which a recommendation we'll talk about here shortly. So you might be thinking, if you're not in South Carolina, do I have a Clean Cities Coalition where I live? There is a good chance you do. Over 82% of the total US population lives within a Clean Cities jurisdiction. So if you're looking to learn about alternative fuels and some local insight on what you can do, this would be a great resource to look to. So how do we do it? Reduce petroleum usage in the United States? Well, we work with light, medium, and heavy duty fleets. Today we'll be talking about light duty vehicles, but we do work with fleets to right size and forward look when they're doing new vehicle procurements, what alternative fuels they can integrate. We also work with connected and autonomous vehicles. So think of smart intersections, how the car is interacting with the intersection, and the intersection is interacting with the car. We also work with the Department of Health and Environmental Control of South Carolina to do idle reduction measures and fuel economy improvements. One of those is the Breathe Better program that DHEC does. This is about idling reduction in parking lots, schools, and really increasing air quality. And some of what we'll be talking today is alternative fuel infrastructure. We work on promoting that and planning on where to deploy that and try to optimize those locations. So today we're going to be talking about electric vehicles. I know this slide's got a lot on it, but that's kind of maybe how the EV market status is now. There's just so much happening. This slide here from the Electrification Coalition just shows how many manufacturers are now moving toward electrification. And it really doesn't even capture them all. In recent years, there's been a lot more companies that have come out. So here's some, I know we're going to be talking with a Tesla owner today, but I just wanted to show some examples of some other mid-tier EVs here. So the Chevrolet Bolt, which we'll see in a second, the Kia Soul, and then also these two bottom photos are some new crossovers that were released in the last coming weeks. The Nissan Ariya, which is a 300-mile range, and then this ID4 from Volkswagen will be made in Chattanooga in 2021. So a lot of cool models coming out. I think there's over 100 models that have some type of electrification on them that are in the US market now. So a lot of great options. So this is Lead by Example, one of our initiatives from the State Energy Office that came out of our energy plan. Lead by Example was a recommendation that state fleets take it upon themselves to lead in terms of adopting alternative fuels. So the Energy Office last year procured the first South Carolina state agency electric vehicle. This is a 2020 Chevrolet Bolt LT. We're going to be using it as a model for other agencies and municipalities around the state who are looking to procure this stuff. And we're using it as a case study for state fleet management for further adoption. This bottom picture here was just taken last week, and we got it wrapped. Wrappable actually wrapped our car with this great plug-in SC campaign, which I believe is the next photo. Oh, never mind, one more slide and I'll get to that. So another initiative that we work on in South Carolina is the alternative fuel corridors. I don't know if you've seen them along the interstates driving around in South Carolina, but you may now. There are these blue signs that designate if the section of the corridor meets enough infrastructure that somebody can transit it and not have a problem finding that fuel. So this came out of the Fixing America's Surface Transportation Act of 2016. We placed the signs in 2017, and we just sent a update to the FHWA, and so we'll be working to update those signs in the coming months. So here's Plug-in SC. This is a great campaign of ours to make charging stations more vibrant and more attractive and easy to find to passing motorists. So a big problem that we've found for motorists is that they can't find these stations. They're kind of tucked away in corners sometimes or indiscreet. So our Plug-in SC campaign involves putting down some pavement markings, and you can see in the background of these chargers some signs that say no parking except for electric vehicles, and then that Federal Highways electric vehicle blue sign. This DC fast charger here on the left is a 50 kilowatt charger that we funded with partnership with the South Carolina Parks of Recreation and Tourism. So you can find that in our capital city and 2 other level 2 chargers around the state. Another thing that we're doing is the electric vehicle stakeholder initiative, stemming out of some conversations in front of the PSC. The Energy Office has taken it upon themselves to hold a broader conversation on how to move EV advancement forward in South Carolina. We're currently evaluating survey results and updating the EV baseline assessment. And due to some staffing capacity issues that we've recently had, we are now moving the start date to Q1 of 2021. So be on the lookout for that. Just some information and resources to finish up my presentation. The Alternative Fuels Data Center is a really great resource run by the U.S. Department of Energy. If you're looking for data on any type of fuel source, including electricity, you can find case studies, publication data, where to find the stations, and laws and incentives. A really great resource. And then fueleconomy.gov is run by the EPA and DOE. It's kind of that consumer side website and also that sticker that you would find in the window of a new car purchase. So you can compare cars there, look into some information about alternative fuels, but if you really want to dive deep, the Alternative Fuel Data Center is a really great resource. And then palmettocleanfuels.org is our website at the bottom. And this is my contact information. Like I said, my name is Ben Kessler. I'm the Clean Transportation Specialist for the Energy Office and Coordinator for Palmetto Clean Fuels. I'm going to transition it now to Jim Polk, who is the South Carolina Electric Transportation Manager, and he's going to give us a little insight on EV adoption in the Carolinas.
Ben, thanks so much for that introduction, and thanks so much for letting me participate in this event. The National Drive Electric Week is really exciting to see, every year, and thank goodness for your resources to go ahead and keep it going even during this COVID pandemic. My name is Jim Polk. I work for Duke Energy. And one of the big things that we're highlighting today is Rebecca Lepelaire and her both storage off-grid and her use of electric vehicles. And we support her as her electric utility. And I wanted to joke with Rebecca a little bit, if and when you use us, because I know you use so much solar and you're using storage. I don't know if you ever use us, but if and when you do, we're there. Electrification is very important to Duke Energy. We see this really as a big opportunity. And back for several years, we have been trying to convert our fleet to electric vehicles, as you can see in some of the examples that we have on this slide. And just recently, last month, we actually made a commitment by 2030 to go 100% electric for light duty fleet. And by 2030, 50% of our medium and heavy duty vehicles will be plug-in vehicles. So we really do see this as a neat opportunity to move forward and really deploy plug-in vehicles. Ben, if you can go to the next slide. Now, as such, we have invested a lot of money across really all of our jurisdictions. And we have some both current and pending customer programs that encourage electrification. The first one in 2017 occurred because of a settlement we had down in the state of Florida. And part of the settlement, we committed to spend $8 million in CapEx to deploy 530 electric vehicle charging stations. And that includes both workplace charging stations and DC fast charging stations, as well as some residents and in some low income areas. And really the good news about that, and what we hope to have with some future programs, is that where we have deployed charging stations, there are double the adoption rate of electric vehicles. So we're already seeing a good impact there. And also in Florida, we actually put in some monitoring behavior with some incentives with some residents down there as well. Very good news. Last month, we got approved in the state of South Carolina, my state, and where Rebecca lives, where we're going to put in additional DC fast chargers, 60 DC fast chargers across our South Carolina territory, which is really great news for us. So somebody can go from one part of the state. Rebecca's in the upstate, and hopefully she can go all the way to the coast. North Carolina is our most ambitious effort, where we proposed e-school bus, e-transit, also public DC fast charging residential rebates as well. $76 million that we proposed to the Public Service Commission in North Carolina, and we're awaiting that information. As well as Ohio, we have a similar program, a little bit scaled back, not as big as North Carolina. So anyways, it's very important to us, something that we want to do, and we've invested necessary resources to do so. Next slide. So part of our really goal is in participating with Plug-in America's National Drive Electric Week is we do value the importance of education. And you can go to Duke Energy. If you just Google Duke Energy and electric vehicles, we have some wonderful resources for you to learn about the benefits of EVs, how you can charge, how do you really choose an EV, as well as the different initiatives going on. Next slide, Ben. This is another example of some of the education that we're doing that helps consumers we think in a very easy format. Next slide. And lastly, what I wanted to talk about is not only Rebecca's, let's say, Tesla and the electric vehicles that I drive on a light duty basis, passenger, but also we see a big opportunity with fleets. You know, the good news we see that has come out is Jeff Bezos there has ordered 100,000 vans, delivery vans for Amazon. And that's after investing $700 million into a company called Rivian. That's after Ford, with the same company, invested $400 million in the same company. Also, you see down there with UPS, 10,000 vans have been ordered from a UK company called Arrival. Right in the state of South Carolina, we have Proterra in that electric school bus that you see. They are building the drivetrains which are then being assembled at Thomas Built buses up in North Carolina. So all this local activity is really exciting, particularly some of the transit buses, bottom left, that you can see there, also being built in Greenville, South Carolina, and they have been delivered 10 of them to Clemson area transit bus, the city of Greenville, the city of Greensboro, North Carolina. So all of this is very real. It's happening in our state. We're really excited about it, and Duke Energy is here to support both our customers who are driving their vehicles, like Rebecca's Tesla, and like our fleet folks who have really an opportunity to get involved today. So if you have any questions, you can certainly go to Duke Energy, our electric vehicle site. All you have to do is just simply Google that in. Or if you'd like to contact me directly, I can be contacted by email at jim.poke@duke-energy.com. And thank you again for letting us participate and appreciate it. Ben?
Thank you so much, Jim. And I appreciate your utility perspective. It's always nice to get that in the conversation too. Now we're going to transition over to John Sheldon, who's the sales coordinator for Renu Energy, and who actually happens to be the company that installed Rebecca's solar installation that we'll get to here in a second. So welcome, John. Take it away.
Thank you, Ben, and thank you, Jim. You can hear me clearly? Awesome. Hey guys, just want to take the next 15 minutes or so to cover, solar and energy storage, as well as some EV charging information, touching on some key concepts and, things to look out for, and just kind of some of the basics as well. So really hope to answer some questions that you might have top of mind. Feel free to drop those in the comment in the chat field there. We can answer that. And, certainly looking forward to continuing the discussion even after this event. Renu Energy Solutions is a fantastic company. We're from the Carolinas. We're for the Carolinas. We're not trying to outgrow this area. We love it here. So we're really trying to look out for the Carolina neighbors that we feel are family. We've been in business for 10 years, so we've been growing hand in hand with the different utilities. And Jim, has been fantastic to hear about how Duke Energy is continuing to expand their electronic fleet. That is exciting news. And all those cars do need energy sources, of course, and we hope you guys continue to turn towards the sun and continue to fill those batteries up with that clean energy. A little bit more about Renu. We have a residential business and we also have a commercial business. And both of those businesses work hand in hand with the utility, with the counties, with the permit offices to make these projects come to life. There's actually a lot of legwork in the background that is required to make a project actually happen and connect into the grid or be able to power a vehicle. And Renu works tirelessly, as a team to make that come to fruition. We are an in-house entity, and we have all of our own employees, all of our own electricians, our own installers. So really, it's a fantastic company to work for, and that's why I joined them a couple of years ago. I've been personally in solar since 2007. And so it's been a long road for me, and to see the evolution and where we are today, it's incredible. It's somewhat kind of pinch worthy. Is this really happening? But absolutely, technology has come such a long way to empower people to live a self-powered lifestyle 100%, like you'll see from Rebecca here in just a moment. It's incredible. What you're seeing in my background are my own solar panels. That's actually my second solar system, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I absolutely love being able to create my own electricity, use it locally, stash it away when I need it at night, and be able to give some energy back to the community when I don't need it. So that's a little bit about Renu, a little bit about me, and let's dig in a little bit here. What does it take to make a solar system work? Simply put, it's pretty much a 4-step process. The solar panels on your roof, they're going to create that energy for your home. It captures the sunlight. It comes in as a direct current from the sun, and then it gets inverted by an inverter to alternating current. Typically, those inverters are on the side of a home or in a garage. You want it someplace kind of in the shade. so that it is able to be more efficient. Energy doesn't really like heat. Think about your car if the coolant isn't going, or your computer when it gets really hot and it slows down. Similar things happen with solar systems. And so, the cooler it is, like a day like today in the Carolinas, where, it's crispy out and it's still full sun, a solar system produces very efficiently. But sunlight gets captured, it goes to your inverter, and from there it'll get tied into your electrical panel. That's where all of your different, circuits are, stuff for like your laundry room or your bedroom, your living room, all of those different circuits that are there. The solar system will power that. So anything that's connected to that, it will go to those devices first. From there, it goes to your electrical meter, and that meter will be installed with a 2-directional meter once you have solar, so that you can give and take energy with the utility. And that meter is what tracks the energy going into your home and the energy going out. There's some programs with most major utilities called net metering, and that is usually a 1-to-1 net metering program. So it's like a credit system. The price you would have paid to get the kilowatt hour from the utility is the amount you'll be credited when you give them the kilowatt hour. So for each unit of energy, and those credits carry over day to day and month to month, and there's a true up period once a year where you can essentially start the slate over again and be able to recreate your energy again throughout the coming year. So that's the gist of it, and being able to kind of connect the components together. And let's continue to take this conversation further. If you can, Ben, change the slide for me.
Hey, John, would you mind explaining the difference between a string inverter and a micro inverter?
Yeah, absolutely. A string inverter is going to be one that is all connected, similar to Christmas lights, but with technology these days, it makes it so that if one goes out or there's shade casted on top of one of those panels, it's still going to perform with the most amount of output possible on the other panels that are in the sun. So it does allow it to still produce electricity, even if one of those solar panels are shaded. So it's not like a Christmas light in that regard. With the microinverter, where you're going to have the panel on the back of it with a smaller inverter attached to it, at the panel level, you're going to be able to invert that energy from DC to AC, and that's going to, at the rooftop surface, then go into your panel where all of your circuits are. So it's a little different than a centralized inverter, where all those panels get wired together and go into the central inverter for the inversion. A microinverter, it operates each panel a little independently, and it's great for situations where maybe you have intermittent shade, times where maybe the trees are kind of, different times of the year casting a longer shadow, and the microinverter will still allow your system to produce power because it's independent. But even with the string inverter with an optimizer, there's technology called optimizers that basically boosts the performance of the other panels. Those are all available today, and most people think, hey, I have trees around my house or this chimney. Truth is, most of the time you're still able to create energy enough to cover most of your energy bill. And I'll stop just to say that everybody uses energy differently. So what's good for you might be not so good for your neighbor, different amount of people in the home. So it's not one size fits all. So that's a good question there.
Appreciate that answer.
Yeah.
All right, we'll carry on.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you come into what is it taking for, the solar system to make a difference in your home, like I was just showing you where the energy gets created on your home and then it goes into your electrical panel, those circuits that are attached to that are going to reduce your consumption so that you're not necessarily 100% getting your power from the utility. And because you're producing your power locally on your rooftop and into your home, it does actually reduce your energy bill. So it is something where, it is custom, right? Like I was just explaining, everybody uses power differently. And so we have to take things into consideration, like how much available roof space there is or ground space, because, certainly, panels may not fit, simply put, on a roof to make enough of a difference. So, an installer like Renu will take in consideration factors like orientation, which is which way is the roof plane's facing, anywhere from east to west. We'll take into consideration the roof pitch, so how steep it is or how walkable it is, because the more direct the sunlight hits those panels, the better the performance will be. So we can actually design a system remotely using technology that allows us to view a home. And so without actually stepping foot on the roof, we can design a solar system that will actually consider the different vent pipes, the tree shading, the roof pitches, and how many panels can fit on the home to determine what's the appropriate size solar system, so that you're not getting so many panels up there that you really don't need all of them. You're not getting so little panels up there that all of a sudden you have more of an electric bill than what you were expecting. So what we do is we consider these different variables, and then proactively we can let a homeowner know what their options are and how can we really give you the best value. And when it comes down to we can fit maybe 15 panels, there's different size panels. It's a lot like buying a car, different models, different makes. You have different brand types of panels. You have different output or how much power can be created per panel. And so once we know the limitations of roof space, then we can play with, well, maybe you need a smaller output panel or a higher output panel. So those things are all available today. You know, we do these free consultations every single day to let homeowners know what their options are. And, you know, it's really, really specific to the home and to what the energy needs are. So if you can, we can go ahead and move to the next one and take a look into some of the other information that's important when it comes to considering solar. A lot of times people think, you know, solar is maybe too fictitious, or it's a little too confusing, a little bit too mystifying, if you will. And there's good reasons for that. It's been around since the 70s. You know, this technology has evolved over time, and people look at it at different phases of time. And, you know, people think about it differently nowadays once they get the right information and the right education. But that's what we're trying to accomplish, is continue to spread good information. You know, when you think about what solar can do for the home, you know, it's tremendous, but you know, there are differences between the companies at which you go and get your information from, and those companies all have access to products. So, you know, different products give you different results, and different installation methods give you different results. So, you know, no two solar systems really are the same. And so, you know, there are these things to consider, but when you think of the advantages, when it's done right, it's tremendous. You get clean energy for your home, you're reducing your electric bill, you're able to, you know, sit back and watch your savings grow as the utility rates continue to increase. The Carolinas are a popular place, and people continue to move here from all around. That means we need more infrastructure, which means more houses, more buildings going onto the utility grid. That certainly means more demand. With more demand, you know, obviously the supply side has to be met as well. So it just means going forward, you know, if it repeats like history shows us, that you're going to have continuing increases in your traditional energy rates, which with the solar system will help you avoid those rising costs by fixing your costs for power. So to that end, a lot of people are choosing to go with the finance option. It's relatively new, only within the last couple of years, and people are able to start to alternate their monthly payments towards owning a solar system versus, you know, having a historical utility bill. So it is stuff that people are coming to light with, and you know, you could essentially have one payment for your solar system and your gas for your car, because the solar will charge your car. So it's kind of like knocking out two birds with one stone. If you can, go to the next slide. All right. And so just like I was mentioning a little bit here, there are some things to consider when it comes to solar. You know, there are different installers that put the systems in, and there's different products available. And so, you know, you want to make sure you get with a reputable company that's going to provide you the information that is relevant to you and relevant to your family and your energy needs. There are certainly some specific things that, you know, companies want to be in mind of when they're proposing a solar solution for a homeowner. You know, An example would be a home that's in some shaded conditions, may not produce as much power as a home that's not in shaded conditions. And so the expectations need to be a little different and the conversations will be a little different. So, sometimes it's the temptation to sort of sell the solar dream and say it's going to do everything you can ever imagine. But truthfully, the situation for the homeowner may not be as so. So, continuing to maybe do some further research with some other companies, take a look at some other quotes, just try to make sure you're getting some good information from reputable sources. Additionally, it's a challenge for sometimes homeowners who think they're doing the right thing and they're excited about the outcome of getting solar, but then the expectations aren't what's actually happening. Oftentimes those people aren't going to necessarily blame a solar company or the products. They'll just say solar isn't really a viable source for energy. And so what that means is then the industry is actually getting kind of a black eye just because of some misinformation. So, it's important that we remember, solar is very customizable. It's not one size fits all. The catch is, not everybody can get it, and it's not optimal in every situation. And so it's important that, we keep our industry on the up and up, and people are getting the right information and the right expectations. Okay, and then the next slide.
And John, I'm going to interject here. Everyone, John's bringing up some really good points about consumer protection. And the Energy Office has developed a site called solar.sc.gov that has a lot of what he's talking about here in terms of consumer protection, red flags to look at, questions to ask, and who to call if you have issues with a solar installer. Also, we have a link here that you can verify with the SC Department of Labor regulations and the board to see in the contractor board to see if there are any pending complaints against an installer. So those are all great things to look at, and I'll advance your slide.
Thank you for that, Ben. Yeah, absolutely. It's super important that people get the right information. And, some of those things that are available today are the federal tax credit, which is 26%, and that is of a system's cost. So this is dollar for dollar towards what you would owe in income tax liability. Does not decrease your taxable income liability, similar to like a charitable donation would. This is, a dollar for dollar towards what you would owe in income taxes to offset that. It's a fantastic program. It's been around for about 10 years. It's actually started its step down phase. And what that means is, it started at 30%. It's now at 26%. It'll go to 22% next year. And then it will actually go away the following year in 2022. So it's a terrific opportunity to see some additional savings off of your solar investment. And this is money you will recoup over the time. If your tax appetite doesn't allow for you to take the full amount of the tax credit in the first year, not to worry. It does go forward, so you can carry the difference forward up to 10 years. And this is also applicable to energy storage systems as well. So solar and storage is actually one of the fastest growing sectors we're seeing in the industry since that technology with storage has come about over the last couple of years. So it's really a fantastic opportunity for people to take control of their energy and continue to put themselves in a position to avoid those rising utility bills and have some backup power in the event of a grid outage. The other option that's available now is the EV chargers. It's also up to $1,000 for residential. And that's a great opportunity because these EV chargers, the more that you have people coming on the road, the more that they're going to become available both publicly and at your home. But the most popular place people recharge are in their garages or somewhere near their home. So this is a nice little kickback for that as well. Kind of like getting a gas pump at your house with the government assistance. So really good options there. Go forward. And then a little bit more about these battery systems that people keep hearing about. We just went through hurricane season. We're about done with it. We actually saw a tremendous increase in energy storage this year. And you would think, given the pandemic, there might be a slowdown in the energy sector. It's actually been kind of the opposite, because with everybody staying at home, it's not just about creature comforts when the grid goes down. people have had to transition to remote living and remote work. And so if your grid goes down, your internet goes out, you're not able to make as much of an income or as much of an impact. And so we've had customers getting storage systems for the fact that they have peace of mind, they can continue to operate. Oftentimes internet wires are underground as opposed to a power line running over the streets. And, because of that, your power would go out before your internet goes out. So if you have a storage system, your internet can stay running and you're able to continue to, work from home, continue to have, the creature comforts that we all like, a nice cold drink and some warm food. But in the case of electric charging, oftentimes people don't think about what happens if the grid goes out and I have an electric vehicle. In this case with the storage system, you're also able to charge your vehicle, which is very important. And most of the time people actually charge in the garage because we all want to keep these things looking nice. And so what ends up happening if the power goes out is your garage door doesn't go up. So now you can actually get out of your garage because you can lift it up if there is an extended outage for a period of time. So it's really empowering people to have a clean lifestyle, be able to use their vehicle not just their power not just at their home but on the road as well. And it's tremendous the difference that it's making in people's lives. And I'm so excited to hear about what Rebecca is going to be doing here. If you can move to the next slide. And just so everybody knows, for attending this event and being able to look into solar, and if you do decide to move forward with solar with Renu in the month of October, if you go to this link here, renewenergysolutions.com/national-drive-electric-week, we'll go ahead and enter you for the free EV charger. We'll add that on at no additional cost with your solar system. So this way you can take advantage of that extra energy that you have to charge your electric vehicles. And this is a nice opportunity here for somebody who's looking into an electric vehicle, wants solar, wants to be able to start to reduce their carbon footprint. We'll go ahead and include the EV charger at no cost. So I'm so excited, guys, about the opportunity to speak and share with you a little bit about what Renu and what I'm doing here with them and what Renu can do for you guys here in the Carolinas. Certainly look forward to continuing the conversation after this. And let's take a look at Rebecca's system. She's been a customer of Renu's now for a couple of years. We've loved having her with us. And Rebecca, please do share what we have.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm in Greer, South Carolina, really close to Greenville. And as John said, Renu did install my solar system. This is a photo of my rooftop. Fortunately, my house is about 3,200 square feet, to give you an idea of the square footage on that. And I have 40 360 watt sun power panels on there. At the time when I bought my system, those were actually the most powerful ones that there were. I think now they have even over 400 watt panels as well, and the size has changed a little bit. I do fit into that system that John was talking about earlier, where I have microprocessors. I don't really have microinverters, sorry, confusing that with computer. Where I don't have like an inverter box. I have a box that has like just different things that relate to the little, they're just about this big on the back of each panel, and they're very efficient. And my house doesn't have a perfect situation as far as orientation. It's a little bit southeast, but now that when we first installed the system, my neighbor had lots of trees around it, incredible shade. I only had about a 2-hour really full south exposition for that. So, but now that she just cut down some trees because they were damaged in a storm, which has just left me wide open, which is, I'm just like in solar heaven right now, producing about, I've seen about 82 kilowatt hours in a day. Right now we're doing about 80. And charging up the power walls really quickly, and then sending about 60 back to the grid, back to Duke. So really excited about that.
That's awesome. Yeah, certainly excited to see. And just so everybody knows, the average size solar system is about 6 to 8 kilowatts in the Carolinas for a bill of about 125 to 175. And so it just depends on that orientation. And Rebecca, you have a beautiful looking system. This looks really nice.
People say, well, do you even need shingles on there? And I'm like, maybe not, but they do. The panels actually really protect the shingles underneath there. They shade them. They also are really resistant to hail. I know a lot of people are really afraid of that, like when you're getting insurance, but these particular panels, and I know some of them can really resist like big hail hitting it at like 50 miles an hour and that kind of thing without breaking. It's actually more sturdy than the shingles are, which might surprise a lot of people.
Right.
And one reason, I did want to mention this, one reason I went with such a large system is because I did have this dream of being, sorry, Jim, off grid one day, just because we just didn't want to use any fossil fuels to power our home. And when I got my car, I was just like, no, I just don't want to be charging my car with coal or using nuclear. So basically, since we had the intention, now today you're going to be really lucky to see two different models, because my son is here with his Venom Model 3, and so you get to see both of those. But basically right now we have the Model S, and then we also have a Prius that we've had since 2004. And but we do, when we can, we do intend to buy a second Tesla, most likely, maybe even a Cybertruck. Who knows? So we want to have plenty of electricity to charge everything and be able to just, not use hardly any grid at all.
Fantastic. All right, Rebecca, you want to take us to the back of your house?
Yes.
All right, so Rebecca, you can walk us through here, but everyone, this is generally what you would see installed at the base of these panels on the back of your house. So take it away, Rebecca.
Yeah, I actually did have because my house is larger, I did have to upgrade to a 400 amp panel. Most people would not already just have that automatically. So you see that big 400 service panel on there. Because of the power walls and everything, we went ahead and I was already maxed up with my car charger. I was already a little bit over 200 amps. So we went ahead and upgraded to the 400 amp, which covers everything. And then right there behind my great rain barrels, we do have a lot of rain barrels, so that we try to water as much as we can sustainably, as well as that. And then we have the little box behind there that actually replaces the inverter. Basically, there's a box right behind that black rain barrel next to that drain downspout that has a lot of things in there that actually replace, as the electricians explained it to me, kind of replace the idea of an inverter. And then of course you have your box over there that is an automatic shutdown, a lever, that just in case there were a fire or anything where we had to shut the system down immediately, you just got this shut off thing. Underneath there, you've got the sun power. I actually have two systems to monitor, because I happen to be a monitor freak. I love the data. Everybody says, oh, you'll never use this. I look at it every day. Maybe not on the days where it's raining 100% of the day, because I'm like, okay, I'll skip that day. But most days I look in every day before I go to bed at night and just see how much I produced and how much we sent back to the grid, how much the power wall used, how long it served, and how much of our percentage we did. And it's just really interesting to see all that. But I also have my Tesla app, and hopefully I'll be showing that a little bit later on.
And then inside, this is what it would look like. Go ahead, Rebecca.
Okay, all right, so this is actually inside my garage. I have a little closet. Fortunately, I can hide all this stuff inside a closet. If you see on the left there, that's the Tesla gateway, okay? That's actually the brain because I have the three power walls that have each 13.5 kilowatt hours of storage, which adds up to a little bit over 40 kilowatt hours of storage, the three put together, so that we can use that at night if we need it. And it usually takes us through the night, depending on how much reserve I have set. So that's the gateway. That's the brain behind everything. Everything goes through there. That actually controls everything as far as where the solar comes in, how it's fed to the house, and how the power walls function. That is tied to our, of course, to our internet, to our, and to the Tesla app. And I can see what's going on in my Tesla app. I can also sign in on my computer. If ever the internet was down, I can actually sign in and see what's going on with that as well. I do have a sub panel because of the power walls, because I actually don't have everything backed up. Actually probably could now that my neighbor has cut down their trees, actually could probably have everything in my house backed up. But as it is right now, that 200 amp panel, it still has a few things in it, like the hot water heater, things that have really high amperage. We've kept those in there. For example, the Tesla charger that's behind my car, that I charge my car with most of the time, is actually the breakers are still in there. But then the other panel on the right there includes all of the solar panels, the power walls, and when the power goes out, my power walls take over, and they basically keep everything in the house, every outlet in my house, refrigerator, all of our security system, everything keeps running, keeps all our lights on, keeps all of our cameras on, keeps all our computers running. Everything runs even when the power is out. And I think an interesting thing to point out is because the power walls actually have this feature that when there is a storm coming, they can actually, the only time they can charge from the grid, if you have solar, is if there is a storm watch in effect. And then we are allowed to, the power walls actually go into that storm mode. It's somehow connected to the weather prediction. If there's something that, like a big snowstorm or something that comes along, power wall goes into storm watch. And it lets me know that through the app, just sends me a little notification that is charging. And when I look at the app, it's like charging like about 10.5 kilowatts or maybe 11, just as fast as it can to fill up the power wall so they'll be completely full in case the power goes out, so they're ready to go, which is really, it makes me feel very secure when a storm is coming. And we have had multiple occasions where the power has gone out. For example, there was a problem in the neighborhood, almost a 9-hour event one day, and the only way I knew it was, I don't hear it, I don't know it, it just, poof, it's magic. And I get a little notification that says power walls running your home on my phone. And I'm like, oh, okay. Then I look and see what's going on. And so for like 8 hours, they just ran everything in my home. My lights were on. The neighbor's like, what's going on? Why do you have electricity and we don't? And I'm like, well, come look, you know. It's really exciting. So it's, it makes me feel very secure, and allows us to keep running our house on sunshine for 24 hours a day.
And I'll even say, Rebecca, it's probably awesome that you're not having to deal with the diesel generator and that nasty fuel, loading it up and all that noise too.
And the smell, the noise. And a lot of people say, well, how are the power walls, are they noisy? I mean, I could have these in my bedroom at night. They wouldn't bother me, okay? Right now, they're making a really sweet little humming sound because they are filling right now. I can hear them. And they have these really exciting little green lights, and they just glow. And sometimes I come out, I know everybody thinks I'm crazy, I'm too much, but sometimes I like to come out in my garage at night and all I hear is just this little humming sound, and I see these really futuristic, I love science fiction, by the way. I see these really futuristic, and when they're doing anything, whether they're filling or whether they're feeding the house with power, you just see these little glowing lights on the side over there. And the really cool thing about these, the way it was explained to me, now, these are really great. I think John's gonna zoom in on these a little bit later on because they are hand-signed by Elon Musk and France Travel, and that France, the designer of our cars and everything. So they are limited edition power walls. But it was explained to me by the electricians, these can go outside or inside, no problem. They can actually be submerged in water, three quarters of the power walls, all the way up, and not have any damage done to them. And they have their cooling systems. When they ramp up, like for example, when I plug in my car, they do make a little bit louder noise because they're pulling hard. I have some figures here, I think on the they do have, I don't know how much detail you want me to go into on the power walls, but so as I said earlier, they each have 13.5 kilowatt hours of storage. So I have about a little bit over 40 kilowatt hours. They have a 90% efficiency. So they do consume just a little bit because they're very sophisticated. They keep themselves just the right temperature, just like the car. Basically, they're the same batteries that are in the Model 3 car, not in my Model S, because my Model S is 2017. But when they started making the Model 3 cars, they were a little bit in short demand. Well, in short demand because there were so many command orders for the cars that they had to turn all the production to the cars. So basically, these batteries are the same cells, if the 2170 cells that are in the Model 3 car.
Awesome. Well, do we want to get transitioned to talking about your car?
Okay, all right, let me go get John.
Okay. In the meantime, folks, I'm going to show you some pictures here that Rebecca had provided of her Tesla. She kind of wanted us to give us a really nuts and bolts look at her Tesla here. So I'm sure a lot of you know about the front, kind of the front trunk space. So this is what it would look like with that covering removed. A lot of electric cars do not have the front space because all this components and wiring is exposed. It doesn't have that covering on it, but Tesla does kind of put it into a low profile mode. So there can be this space up front. So a lot going on here, but I would say the main thing to notice here is this 12-volt battery up top. Really, a lot of people think it's the electric battery that is everything in the car, but no, there's actually still a 12-volt battery that powers a lot of the computer systems. And honestly, if that's dead, your car won't start. So sometimes you might need to give it a jump. Same with a regular internal combustion engine. But moving to the back seat, and this is kind of a view that not everyone gets, is the battery pack. So underneath the back seats and, kind of extending into the trunk is the battery packs. Like she said, this is a 2017 Tesla model. So it does not have those new battery cells that the Model 3 has, but they're still pretty efficient. I think you get about 3.7 miles per kilowatt. And I believe that Rebecca has the 100 kilowatt battery pack, which is the largest one, but I'm sure she'll tell us about it here in a second. Additionally, you can see kind of the floor here. There's no transmission tunnel. So electric vehicles have a lot of floor space, and it's a lot cleaner look in the vehicle because there is no transmission axle. Actually, if I switch back to this photo here, you can see kind of in the middle below this bar, this long piece here, that's the electric motor. So it's up front. There's no transmission tunnel. So there's a lot more space to keep, a lot more foot space in the well and area to keep your goodies. And then moving to the back here. So this is kind of the trunk edge of the car. She actually really took apart this car, Rebecca, for us, which is kind of neat. These are the electric computer modules for the Tesla, so kind of the brainchild of the car. So she was kind enough to show that this is located in the back, kind of tucked away under some panels, and it controls the car and some connectivity between the charger and the charging station and the user interfaces. So I think that culminates that, and we'll see where John is here. Also say, if anyone has any questions, just please put them in the chat. We can break down anything there. Rebecca's gonna walk us through her, like she said, she has a 2017 Tesla Model S, and John has her old Model 3. And so they're going to walk us through that, kind of what's on the interior, the exterior. They're going to show us the charging station, how to use it, how it interacts with the car, and kind of the infotainment systems. So I believe, John, are you there? I see your camera came on.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to transition over to you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And you should be good to go.
Okay, what we're giving you here is the idea of just how crazy Tesla fan I am. Just an overview, just going closer up. We want to show you the power walls, how they are each hand-signed, each one's different. It's a really exciting thing for me. I even have a little miniature Cybertruck there. I don't know if you can see it, that I made out of, challenged myself to make it. It has a little solar panel. It's actually run on solar power that I did at school for my students, because I teach 4th and 5th grade students, and they are absolutely crazy about all the technology and just really very interested. They sometimes know more about these cars than we do.
Rebecca, I'm amazed at how clean your garage is.
Oh, well, yeah, my husband he says we could actually eat out here.
Yeah, that's right.
The only problem with that is that, unfortunately, when you're getting ready for a show like this, you have no place to hide anything. So everything has to look good. So I'm going to go ahead and start talking about our cars a little bit. On here, I'm going to have my trusty card here, so I don't forget to cover all the information that you'd like. Basically, I bought this. This is a December 2017 75-watt power battery Model S. It has about 259 miles of range, which of course is very different. I should get more than that because of the way I drive it, because I'm a grandma, even though every now and then I do like to show off a little bit if somebody sitting there revving their motors like a Lamborghini or something, because I can just kind of leave them in the dust with my car. And so I get really bad sometimes with that. So I bought my car out. I was actually out in California on a workshop for coding and programming, and went into actually a Tesla showroom. And in about 10 minutes, I had purchased my car. It was just a really, really easy purchase process. Nobody tried to sell me insurance or anything else other than just my car. I had picked it out. They actually built the car while I was in there in Palo Alto. It was finished like it was born at like 2 o'clock. So my car is not just, it's not a car. It's actually, its name is Ex Machina. And we also have Venom over here, which is my son's 2019 Model 3. His car is a long-range vehicle. So that means, what is your range, John? 325 miles. Now, it's a rear-wheel drive. My car is also a rear-wheel drive. Neither one of these cars are actually available because Tesla changes their models as they do it. You can't always get the same exact. His has a premium connectivity, premium package on it with the premium sound. So a lot of different things. And John, when he bought his car, all he had to do was go online, and he just opened up the Tesla app. The Tesla website, configured his car, chose the color, chose the battery size he wanted, and put some money down on, and then that was all it took to purchase that vehicle. So it's very easy to purchase these vehicles. I did want to say, going back to my car now, this car can actually do 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. They just came out with a Plaid that can actually do it in about 2.3 seconds or something like that. So it's a very fast car. Has the torque is just instant. It's very exciting to drive these cars. They're very pleasant. They're very quiet. And I just want to express. I know you've seen how crazy I am about Tesla, but I just want to say that I love this car, and but it's not just a car. It's a lifestyle. It's when I drive this car, it's quiet, it's powerful, it's sexy, and it's just so much fun to drive. And when I drive this car, I feel like I'm flying. I feel like I feel better about myself because I'm not using any fossil fuels. Also, it's just so, if you ever get a chance to drive one, you just don't want to drive anything else because it just makes you feel so going like you have hope for the future. Okay, and being a science fiction buff, it kind of takes me forward because mine actually does have full self-driving on it, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. Well, so basically, both of our cars have the same cameras and also the same sensors. They each have 8 cameras, 3 in the front here. We have, these are called pillar cameras, 1 on each side here. We have the repeater cameras on each side. We have a camera in the back, which I can see and we'll see that later on inside. And then on the front, 6 sensors, 6 ultrasonic sensors on the front, 6 on the back. And then we can't really see it from here, but there's radar that can see, I think I read online yesterday, about 150 feet ahead. So that it can actually see, when it's driving itself, it can actually see through the car, several cars ahead of you, and see if a car is acting erratically. It can actually predict that that car may actually cause an accident, and the car will start slowing down and avoid that accident. We've actually seen videos of that happening. Let's see. The speed is, it can go up to 140 miles an hour. It has 382 horsepower. So it's quite a powerful vehicle. So maybe we should look at, I wanted to show you we have a different way of starting our cars. My car, the Model S's and Model X's come with, this one has a little special cover on it to protect it. They come with this fob, which I always have to have with me to start my car. I can control many things in the app, but I don't start my car. John, starting with the Model 3, he has just a card like this that he keeps in his pocket. It's like a credit card. And, but mostly he uses his phone to start his car. This is just in here as a backup, just in case the Tesla app should go down or something like that. Then this card actually is what starts the car. They can actually purchase a fob for theirs if they want to, but I think it's what, $150 or something like that. Okay. All right. So let's show you how now. I'm going to go ahead and plug my car in. You wake it up here. Went back to sleep on me. Okay. Open the door up there. Just so you can start seeing there. So basically, there are many ways to charge the car. The car comes with, or mine came with, this is my bag here, came with everything I needed to charge the car. It has a tow bar, which we don't use very often, obviously. It came with a cord like this, a charging cord. We call this the charger that we carry with us everywhere. If you go somewhere, we can plug into any home, 110 outlet, whatever you need to. It also it comes with all the adapters that you need. Here I have an adapter to fit into a 110 outlet. Here we have an adapter that would fit into a 240 outlet, which of course would charge faster than the 110. The 110 is very, very slow trickle charging. And then we also have, it comes with this, which would actually plug into my car, but I can go into any parking garage, like in Columbia. I can go in there, it's free charging. I just plug into a charger, go have lunch, come back, my car's ready to go because it has the adapter. There are other adapters for different types of things like welder plugs and that kind of thing. They come with all of that.
And just to interject, Rebecca, so the difference between chargers, say like a Chevy Bolt, would take what is called a CCS, which is what that is, where you would plug that in. So even if it's not a Tesla station, like she said, they do make adapters so that you can plug into non-Tesla stations.
Right. Okay. So basically, if I'm not in a hurry, I just plug my car into the 110 and let it trickle charge overnight. When I come back in from using it, if I don't need to go somewhere, we just keep it plugged in all the time. The car is very smart. It knows when it needs to charge. It does have a little phantom drain because there's so many things that keeps the battery pack at an optimum temperature all the time. And just there are a lot of little things going on. And the car is also watching to see if someone's going. We do have the alarm system and everything. It's watching. It's waiting in case I want to summon it to come pick me up. If it's raining, it can come pick me up at the door. And here is, this is the charger. This is a Tesla wall connector, and I saw a picture of this in John's presentation a while ago. You do have to have the certified electricians that are qualified for Tesla to install this and the Powerwalls. This one charges my car at 34 miles per hour. And so basically this is the wand, and I press on the wand here, and normally it opens up. I stick it in, and the car right now it's a little bit under what because I didn't plug it in last night, and I sat in my car and played with it. I cleaned it up, listened to music for about an hour, enjoyed it, and because sometimes I just have to have a moment with my car.
It must be nice to run your car.
When I get nervous or worried about something, I can just go sit in my car and listen to the music, because it's like being in a, Elon wanted it to be like a recording studio. And I sit in my car and it's just got this surround sound, even though I don't have the premium package for the sound. And it's just, I have a moment with my car and I just calm down and feel much better. So as you can see, when it's blinking right here, showing that it's charging, we also see that the wall connector here is showing me that it's functioning properly as well. If there were any kind of problem with electricity or something not connecting, first of all, if you don't plug it in right, the car sounds an alarm and lets you know, and it turns red in the little surrounding area right here. I would also, if there were a problem here, I would have some red lights there, so it would let me know that something. I did have this installed. That's my preferred way of charging, just because it's nice and fast, because it charges at 34 miles an hour. And I think John's car actually on the same charger charges at about 45 miles an hour, about 10 more than mine does, because it's more efficient and it's fast. It charges faster. My car on the 110 outlet charges at 4 miles an hour. I think John's, yours is about 5 or 6. Anyway, it charges faster than mine does. So just an idea about charging. For example, I drive to Columbia to see my son, because that's where he lives. So I use it's about 110 miles or something like that. Well, there's a supercharger there at a really nice hotel. So I just pull into that hotel and plug in, and then I walk in and have a coffee, use the restroom, and basically my phone lets me know that my car is finished. So in about 30 minutes, it's ready to go, just the time to go in and just relax a little bit. It's very pleasant. I oftentimes meet other Tesla owners and we chit chat about how much we love our cars as well. So it's a very pleasant experience. And as Jim was saying, I can easily make it from here to the coast, even though mine doesn't have as much range as this one does. There's a charger in Columbia. There are also superchargers, and I can plug into other chargers as well, but the supercharger network is really large. And I think it's something like 2,000. I don't quote me on that, but I think there are a couple of thousand superchargers. There's one more closer to the coast, and then of course, if we stay at Litchfield by the sea or something like that, they have a destination charger just like this one right here, and all I have to do is just plug into that. Or if they don't have that, I have this charging cord here, and I plug it into a 110 outlet, because every parking garage has 110 outlets. I'm seeing more and more with actual chargers, like at the Garden City hotels and things, even out in the parking lot. I'm seeing more and more places where you can just plug your car in and charge while you stay overnight. So that makes it easier. So John, do you want to show how we plug yours in here too? Or let's see, let's just show this. Okay, so this is the 110. Okay, so what do I do here? Just same thing as you, same thing with mine. Here's a little, oops, is it awake?
Yeah, well, since my phone's not here, it's probably locked. You might have to unlock it with the card.
Hold it here.
Hold it to the pillar.
Hold it to the pillar. I'm learning too.
Closer. There you go.
So it's awake now.
Oh, wait. I think
Right.
I just locked it, actually. I think. Technical difficulties. Okay, now I should be able to press it. There you
There
go.
we go. Just plug it in.
Yep.
Is it right?
Mhm.
That little green light means all is well. The blue light means it's preparing to charge. And it doesn't take long. if there were any problem at all, the car would give a loud, like beep, kind of warning signal, and that light would flash red, and you would know that it's not charging properly. Oh, I did pull this out. I thought maybe everybody would like to see this. My car does have a wrap on it, which protects it. And I never have to use water to wash this car. It's really, really rare. If it's dusty, I just bring out my California duster, dust my car off, and I'm ready to go. Either that or you use like a John cleans his up, and I did last night with a wireless kind of wash and wax kind of thing. Very easy to maintain.
Hey, Rebecca, we got about 10 minutes to our question and answer session.
All right. So we take a look at the, as far as, we know that this car has regenerative braking. You want to take a look at the inside, Ben? Is that what you'd like us to do now?
Yeah, show us around the back, the front,
Okay.
back seat, maybe the cargo area.
Okay. Okay, want to see the cargo area? Let's see here. Open up the trunk. This car has, I think it said like 26 up to 60 cubic feet of storage. It's very big. I don't know if you can see in there. I could actually go in there and sleep in there because these cars can be used for camping. They even have a camping mode. Very large space there.
And do the seats fold down?
They do, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anything else on the outside, Ben, you'd like to see?
Maybe once we get done with, just looking at the infotainment center, just maybe pop open the frunk. We can see some of that because we showed everyone it without the covering on it.
Okay. All right. So as you can see, this is the charging. It just shows that it still has 5 minutes to charge here. I can set whatever limit I want. If you look, it tells me we normally keep it I normally keep mine charged at about 75 because you don't want to keep it 100% all the time. It's not the best for the car, but you can definitely charge it to 100% if you want to go on a trip. Basically, as you can see, my music pops up right here. I have it set up where you can customize it any way you want to. If you want to see more of the maps, if you want to see more of your camera, whatever you want to do, to have it going there. And this is the backup camera right here. I can set my navigation right here. My car does, like I said, my car does have full self-driving. So I do have navigate on autopilot, and basically I just got my car the brand new AP3 hardware, and so basically my car is now seeing stoplights. It's more and more ready to use on city streets. Before it was really, really perfect out on the highway, and now it's becoming more and more perfectioned as far as seeing stop signs, lines on roads. It can see all kinds of things. So here we have the system here where we choose, and of course the Model 3 is very different as far as that. It doesn't have both of these things. It just has the one screen there. My car actually has the Model S's and Model X's have a system where I can raise and lower the level on it, depending on if you're wanting to go super fast, or if you're on a rocky terrain, you'd want to put it up really high, or if it's a lot of snow and that kind of thing, you can change the level of that. I'll just quickly go through these kind of things. Just really can customize it. The steering mode, the regenerative braking, you can customize this and make it your own personal kind of car. Mine does have autopilot. I have some, the auto steer, navigate. And navigate on autopilot basically means that I can put a destination. For example, I want to go to John's house. Well, the car is going to drive me pretty much all the way there. It's going to change lanes depending on how I customize it, whether I want it to change lanes like Mad Max, or as you can see, I'm not mild, but I'm average, and I'm not Mad Max because that kind of scares me. So, the car can actually do all of that. You can tell it whether you want it to let you know and let you confirm or not. Something that's really recent here is the green traffic light chime. Like if you have a tendency to fall asleep or start texting, which you're not supposed to do at a red light, the car actually chimes and tells you it's green, go, don't just sit there.
and that kind of thing. Or if it's on autopilot, it will just go by itself. Let's see, all kinds of different things that you can either choose to use and customize it your way. All kinds of customizations here, the display modes, trips, navigation, choose the type of thing that you want, if you want online routing. My computer does show actual like high traffic areas and that kind of thing. We have our safety features here, like there's alarms, entrance. I have a pin to drive on my car, so even if somebody broke into my car, they would not be able to take off because they don't know my pin. I have to type it in for the car to be able to start. They wouldn't know my pin. The car is designed to protect children. If you leave them in there, it will not go over a certain temperature, so you would not have children or dogs dying in your car if you leave them in here, which we don't really want to do that. But if you leave your dog, there's a dog mode, so that you can keep your animals safe. The AC here, you can have, as you can see, you can have dog mode, you can have camping mode also on here to make sure that your animals are safe. I can control this different ways. Either I can control it, a lot of things from right here. Okay. How much time do we have left?
We've got about 3 minutes.
3 minutes? What do you want to do next? Show John's car now.
Okay.
Okay, as you can see, a little different. My car, when I approached mine pop out, his, I just do this, open it like that. As you can see, even more streamlined. They don't have the screen behind here. We have this type of screen here. John just showed me something yesterday that's really cool. I believe I hit here, right, for the climate, which is real. I don't know if you can see this, but you can do all kinds of things and change the direction because the AC comes out. It doesn't have just little things like on mine. The AC comes out all the way across here, and you can completely customize the directions that those go. And of course, at night, these switch to a darker screen so that it's easier viewing at night. Anything else? What else do you want me to show you on here? There.
I think you wanted to see the front.
The front, yes. You want to see? You mean on my car? Is that what you?
Either way, you can press the open button right there on mine if you want.
Where? Oh, yeah.
And so you can see everybody in that picture that I showed you. This is the covering that would be on top of all those internal guts of the vehicle. So there's a lot of space. Tesla did a good job of keeping that low profile of all the bits and giving you some additional cargo space up front. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a light in the front and grocery hooks too.
Yeah, these come up. You can actually attach the grocery bags up here. There's 2 of them. And yeah, the light right there.
What a fantastic showing of your technology, Rebecca and John. I thank you so much. We're going to move into the question and answer session here. And thank you to all of our presenters as well. And Jim, you had something you wanted to bring up about the new home charger rebate, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Rebecca, you're a DEC customer, Duke Energy Carolinas customer, and what's public information, but it's going to be announced in a press release this week, is that part of the electric transportation pilot that was recently approved by the South Carolina Public Service Commission is that we're going to be offering an EV home charger rebate. And bring your own charger. It's not tied to any particular one, but what we're going to do is we want to encourage off-peak charging. The big opportunity with electric vehicles is if we can off-peak charging where we have plenty of capacity, we won't have to build new assets to serve electric vehicles. So we really need to figure that out. And as part of that study, we're going to reimburse folks $500 to enter the program. And then for every month that they successfully, comply with the off-peak charging, there's like a $13 thing, and it's a 3-year pilot. So let's say you're the EV hero of the upstate. So we're going to keep in touch with you and see if we can, see if you're eligible for that program. But anyway, something for everyone to consider as they're thinking of EV, getting an EV.
Awesome.
Thank you for everything that you're doing. I really think you're an EV hero in South Carolina.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. So if anybody has a question, please drop it in the chat. We do have one here. So this one is, how many kilowatt hours daily does your PV system produce, Rebecca?
Okay, it can really vary depending on the sun, of course, and clouds and rain. It always produces something. Even in the worst day, it would at least 5. But on the best days so far, recently it's been about 82 kilowatt hours per day. And over the year, it has produced, I think I just saw the figures yesterday, about 18,000 kilowatt hours. And we consume about 14,000, or between 12 and 14,000 kilowatt hours.
That's awesome. I've got a personal question for you. How long did it take for the panels and the storage walls to get installed? Was that a lengthy process, or was that pretty quick?
Let's see, I think we signed up with Renu in March, and I think we actually ended up in June getting those installed, and then actually mine got turned on very quickly. And then I had the power walls installed. I did have to wait for those because, like I said, there was a backlog of batteries for Tesla. So I had those. I waited for 2 years for those, but now it's much quicker than that. And we had those installed a year late, in March, a year after. So I've had the solar system since June of 2018 and the power walls since March of 2019.
Awesome. I'm going to open up the floor. If you're watching here, just unmute yourself if you got a question and ask away.
Jim, I had a question. Your rebate, that is residential and commercial, or just residential? And you said that would be coming out sometime in October?
Residential only, and it's going to get announced this week, and I believe by January 1 we'll begin it. It was approved last month.
That's really exciting. That's really exciting news. And Rebecca, for you with the power walls and the app, I just found that app to be so interesting. Does it tell you how many hours of outage you've had, or?
Yes.
It does.
I'm going to pop it up here. If you can see they're 100% charged, all of them right now. I'm just going to give you an idea. Now, this is the same app that our cars are in also, so all I have to do is switch from there to there. As you can see, this is real time right now. My panels are producing 11.4 kilowatts. They're serving the house at 2.1, and they're sending the rest back to the grid because we don't need any more in the power wall. So first of all, it supplies, the solar starts around 7 in the morning, supplies to the house what it needs. Then it sends extra to the power wall, and when the power walls are full, it just keeps it keeps sending it back to the grid, whatever's extra. And then so I have all these different options here. Like this is today. So far we've used 14.2. We've produced 20, and we've sent actually 3 back to the grid. We can look at, but going back to here, we can see the backup history, which shows every time that the power has gone out. See, we have one here that was 8 hours and 57 minutes. One of them 1 hour and 25 minutes. A lot of these are just little times where the power, they often go off, and the power wall just kind of takes control for about 5 minutes, gets everything settled. And then if ever the power wall really controls everything. For example, if you had an extended outage, if the solar panel, if you're cut off, because we get cut off from the grid. People don't realize that if you just have solar and the power goes out, your solar power is cut off. It does not function. You can't receive it anymore because you don't want to be sending back power to the grid and kill the people who are working on it. So basically, with the battery backups, though, they can, we get shut off. It actually closes us off from the grid, so we can go on forever. As long as there's solar, we can keep going. If there's snow, it melts off the solar panels, keeps feeding the power walls. The power walls keep running the house, and you can do that for days.
That's terrific. That is terrific. So is it seamless when the power goes out? Like, is there a...
It is. I don't even know it. I just, my app sends me a signal and says power wall's running your house. You don't even see, the lights don't flicker, nothing. It's seamless.
Wow. Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
You're like living in a different world.
And we can completely customize them. I mean, depending on where you are, if you have time of use, we don't have time of use. We have net metering, fortunately, here in the Carolinas. But I can set it to my reserve. I can also set it, this is where it's always watching to make sure if there's a storm coming. I can also, this is a newer feature here where I can say, I can determine whether my car is allowed to charge and use the power wall when there's an outage or not. I can customize all of these things. Yeah.
Wow.
You can also set it if you don't want to, if you just want to have 100% set up. But even as you can see with 60% backup, I keep that. It never goes below 60%, and I still am running the house. So I just keep that reserved just in case there's a power outage. But it can go all the way down to 0, which isn't really 0. It reserves enough to stay on.
That's awesome. Thank you, Rebecca, for showing this. And just one last question. How many miles do you have on the Tesla Model S, and what type of maintenance have you done?
Okay, well, since I only live 10 miles away, 5 miles away from work, I only have 12,000 on my car. John has, I think, as many on his and is so much younger. I have had, the only maintenance I've had is I've had my tires rotated. That's it.
Yeah, that seems to be definitely the standard with electric vehicle owners. I was telling some folks yesterday with our Chevrolet Bolt, we will only be rotating the tires, and then 150,000 miles, some fluid will be changed, but that's about it. So it is very cost effective.
Same thing for John. I think all you've had done is just, and what's really nice, of course, we don't have a Tesla service center because they're not allowed to sell directly in South Carolina, but we have a little ranger that comes down from Charlotte. Well, actually he's from Asheville now, and he comes to wherever you are, your office, your home, wherever you want him to come. And if you have any little glitches or something like that, he takes care of those right wherever you are.
Awesome. Well, it is now 11:30, so I just want to say thank you to everyone who's attended and our presenters here, Rebecca, John, and Jim. You guys were fantastic and provided, I think, some really good insight for people who are looking to go with a solar plus storage plus EV option. It's always great to see that real world example up front. So some really good stuff. Thank you guys, and thank you everyone for attending. We will be recording this. We are recording this, and we'll upload the recording to the Energy Office's YouTube page, so you can find it there. We are also doing an event on October 20th with a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle owner here in Columbia. So you can find out information on that on palmettocleanfuels.org and register for that. That'll be like another one of these kind of Zoom, and we'll walk through that car. So thank you to everyone. Have a great weekend and take care. You want to say one more thing?
Yes, our event in Greenville is still continuing. We have a part 2. If you registered for part 2, you need to switch to that other Zoom link right now, where we're showing Porsche, Audi, Volkswagen. We're also showing a Zero motorcycle. We have an owner. We have Mark Martinez going to explain. He's actually going to demonstrate on a Porsche Taycan how he does his wraps for the cars. And then we have a Tesla panel where we're going to be talking about all kinds of things, like other vehicles that they own, other EVs, and as well as their Teslas.
Awesome. Thank you for plugging that. All right, everyone, take care, and thanks for tuning in, and drive electric.
Thank you.
Thank you.